Mr. President, Chairman, honorable members, I'm delighted that one of my first official engagements in my new role as Commissioner for Neighbourhood and Enlargement is here in the European Parliament. I'm also pleased that we will focus on the prospect for a European Union enlargement, which remains a top priority for the European Parliament and for me personally. Our discussion today is centered on the Western Balkans, and I'm pleased to see so many rapporteurs, shadow rapporteurs and chairs of delegations to joint parliamentary committees, and also colleagues from the national parliaments from the Western Balkans. We have quite a bit to discuss. Before we do that, let me say a few words on what we need to do to ensure that the region, which is an integral part of Europe, has a credible accession perspective. First, we need to sustain and accelerate reform progress for each individual country. The focus must be on the real impact of the reforms on the ground. The best measure of progress will be the pace of economic development, increased prosperity and quality of life, as well as freedom for people and our partners in the region. This is, after all, the ultimate objective of the accession process. I want to make sure that the benefits are felt throughout the region as swiftly as possible. Second, the Commission will present suggestions early next year to contribute to driving the process forward, to build on the Western Balkan strategy of last year, to strengthen our cooperation and to render the negotiation process more effective, also acting on concerns raised by Member States. We will continue to put a strong emphasis on the fundamentals of the rule of law, economic development, the functioning of democratic institutions and public administration reform. These issues are at the heart of the societal transformation all around the Western Balkans, and they need to undergo to be ready for their eventual membership. Strong political engagement is necessary on reforms in the region, not for the European Union's sake, but for the sake of the citizens of the Western Balkans. The governments in the region need to take responsibility to ensure the reform process is inclusive, with wide stakeholder consultation. Parliaments have a key role in this process. Also, to be able to adequately scrutinize the many legislative reforms and proposals put before them, but also to make them work for the citizens of these countries. I also want the process to be more dynamic and not just focused on opening and closing negotiating chapters. We need to focus on identifying opportunities for closer and earlier integration in areas of joint interest even before accession. For example, the Western Balkans should be closely associated with the Green Deal, or our digital agenda, and our trans-European networks in transport and energy. This will help drive growth and create jobs, so the people of the region don't need to wait until accession to reap the benefits of these key policies. The European Union must also prepare for its part to be ready to take on board future member states once conditions are met, but not at the cost of hampering the accession process. The process of deepening EU integration can run in parallel with the accession process. Honourable members, let me say a few words on each of the countries. I guess all of us were very disappointed with the recent lack of consensus in the European Council in October to open membership negotiations with Albania and North Macedonia. Nevertheless, our commitment to their EU perspective remains unchanged. I will continue to defend our proposal to open accession negotiations with both countries, and I cannot stress enough the importance of taking a positive decision on opening negotiations before the Zagreb summit of next year. The Croatian presidency has a crucial role to play in this project. North Macedonia has delivered on what it was asked. It delivered even more by the historic Prespa Agreement, which is an inspiration for the whole region and for Europe. And despite the disappointment at the outcome of the European Council in October, the country is continuing its EU-related reforms, particularly in the areas of rule of law, but elsewhere as well. Albania has made significant progress in the area of justice reform, including through the comprehensive vetting of judges and prosecutors. I am convinced that these efforts must and will continue. Let me also take this opportunity to repeat that we stand in solidarity with Albania following the devastating earthquake, and we will continue to provide assistance. We are already looking into options on how to do beyond the emergency needs. Bosnia and Herzegovina has also made important steps on the EU path. The opinion on the membership application provides a comprehensive roadmap for reforms. I welcome the nomination of the new chairman of the Bosnia-Herzegovina Council of Ministers, Mr. Zoran Tegeltija, and I look forward to swift formation and full functioning of all executive and legislative authorities. This is crucial so that the country can start addressing the key priorities identified in our opinion. Reforms in the judiciary and management of migration require timely action. Turning to Kosovo, with the certified results of the early parliamentary elections on the 6th of October announced, it is important that the new government is formed swiftly. There is a hugely important work ahead, including in priority areas such as economic development and the fight against corruption and organized crime. I look forward to meeting the new leadership to see how can the EU support their work. We also expect the new government to work for a resumption of the EU-facilitated dialogue, including by removing the 100% tariff on imports from Serbia and Bosnia-Herzegovina, which has been in place for over a year now. High Representative Borrell has already said that the Belgrade-Pristina dialogue will be among his top priorities, and I will offer all my help to support him in this endeavor, which we hope to close already by the end of next year. Before I move on, let me thank the Chief Observer of the EU Election Observer Mission to Kosovo, Ms. von Kramon-Taubadel, and other MEPs for their outstanding work. Montenegro is the most advanced country in terms of accession negotiations, with 32 chapters open, 3 of them provisionally closed. Work is ongoing across the board and needs to continue with a focus on tangible results, in particular when it comes to the rule of law and media freedom. The political debate, however, in Montenegro should return to the parliament, where it belongs. It is also vital to continue ongoing work on electoral legislation to address the low level of trust in view of the parliamentary elections coming up next October. Finally, in the current circumstances, it is all the more important that Serbia accelerates the course of EU reforms. Serbia is a negotiating country with 13 chapters opened, 2 closed. And I'm happy to announce that we are working to close 1 more chapter still this year. But when negotiating country, of course, our expectations are high. Solid, comprehensive and tangible results on the ground are required in crucial areas of democracy and rule of law, as well as when it comes to the freedom of media. In addition, a broad and consensual electoral reform is needed ahead of the parliamentary elections of next spring, and the ongoing interparliamentary dialogue facilitated by the European Parliament is crucial in this regard. And now I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. And again, Mr. President, it is always an honor to come to the European Parliament, which I continue to do so.
Bravo. Grazie. Congratulations. Bye bye. Hi.